I have no love for the just asking a question guys. People who throw out these things that are really inflammatory statements, but they ask it like, I'm just trying to get some information. Just ask the question. Why don't we do these things? I just don't, because the malice there is, well, I have an issue with people asking stupid questions, i.e. the questions they know the answers to. They just want to get a rise to people as they have to try to explain it. But I really don't know the answer. And I really am asking questions about this thing right here. President Trump said he has instructed the Pentagon to immediately begin U.S. nuclear weapons testing on an equal basis. Immediately an equal basis is essentially quotes with Russia and China. He posted the directive not just at random, but just before the talks with China's Xi Jinping in Busan, having it's a sharp break from the U.S. nuclear laws and pauses on testing because we haven't tested anything nuclear since 1992. The White House framed the move as a keeping pace with some rival programs. Details are sparse, scope is sparse, sites are sparse, timelines are sparse. There's really no actual thing other than, hey, Hetzef, why don't you start blowing stuff up? And that's where questions really start. Are we talking about blowing stuff up? Because it's unclear whether the order envisions full underground detonations or actual more simulation work. Because experts say the last time they exploded one in 1992 was useful, but doing that contaminated underground trials and things like that. And we can do most of these things by computer now. That's why the AI is there eventually. It would take significant preparation to likely do this, years to set it up, and then years to clean it up, not in a couple of weeks. So why will we do that? China is urging Washington to honor global test ban norms, and Russian and European commentators are warning of heightened risks. On Capitol Hill, though, Nevada's Representative Dina Titus vowed legislation to block the new tests, because that's basically where they do it. Dina Titus vowed to legislation to block new tests, and U.S. outlets are stressing that no major nuclear power has conducted an explosive test in decades, underscoring how unusual the restart would be. Now, Russia tested a ballistic missile that has nuclear capability a few months ago, but they did not actually test an actual nuclear weapon or a nuclear issue. That's something that's there. So we don't know what's happening. And making it an equal footing, China hasn't done it in years. Russia is doing these things just more or less saber rattling to show that they have the meats, if you will. The backers are arguing that renewed testing would validate warhead reliability, basically make sure that's still good, and deter rivals that say they are advancing their systems to make sure they can keep up with us or outdo us in years without explosive trials. So there's that. But do we actually really need to do this? Opponents are warning that tests are, of course, going to erode some non-proliferation norms. Essentially, we say we're not going to do it, but we're doing it anyway. Maybe spur a new arms race because Trump says he wants to go non-nuclear, but he's asking for more. And, of course, in Nevada, where they'll probably blow this thing up, contaminate the land. We shall see what immediately works for and on regular scale and how that works out going forward. But this is a case where I'm that guy that annoys everybody else and is just asking questions. Trump wants to do some nuclear live tests, apparently. That's what it looks like. That's what it seems like. He wants to show off because we got the goods. But why? Why do we need to show off? We've never needed to show off. We just showed up when time happens and just say, hey, punk, here we got it. Let's do this. We don't have to oversell our stuff because we have a weakness to kind of defer folks from showing up. We tell them don't show up, and then we just act. That way we don't have to be the bully on the street. We just, knock the bully out when he shows up and then go back to sitting in our chairs. I don't think Trump understands how this works, which is why I'm asking the questions. Why are we testing nuclear whatevers right now? Why do we need to? Why would anybody want to? My question, what's the actual point?